There's a meat that Americans used to eat all the time, not occasionally, not as a novelty. All the time. In some parts of the country, it was more common than beef, more affordable than pork. It showed up in stews, on dinner plates, in institutional kitchens across America. And now, you probably can't even remember the last time you saw it for sale. So here's the question. How does a meat go from normal to invisible? Not because it became dangerous, not because people hated it, but because the entire system that supported it just moved on. The meat wasn't exotic, it wasn't rare, it was mutton, and if you've never even thought about why it disappeared, that's exactly the point. If disappearances like this fascinate you, hit subscribe, because this one reveals how food systems decide what stays and what goes. Let's start by establishing what mutton actually was in American food culture. Mutton is meat from an older sheep, usually over 2 years old. And for most of the 19th century and into the early 20th, it was just regular meat. Not fancy, not foreign, not something you had to seek out. It was what you got when you went to the butcher: mutton chops, mutton stew, roasted mutton, boiled mutton. It showed up in home kitchens, in boarding houses, in military rations, in hospital meals. Nobody questioned it, because sheep were everywhere. They grazed on land that wasn't good for crops. They provided wool for clothing, and when they got too old to produce wool efficiently, they became food. That was the cycle, and mutton was the result. It wasn't a delicacy. It wasn't considered low class either. It was just meat. The same way we think of chicken or ground beef today as baseline, unremarkable protein. That's how people thought about mutton. It was standard, available, normal, and the idea that it would one day almost completely vanish from American tables? Nobody would have believed that. Because mutton wasn't a specialty. It was meat. But mutton wasn't just available by accident. It existed because sheep made sense in the old farming system. Sheep were useful animals, multi-purpose. They gave you wool, year after year. You'd shear them in spring, sell or use the wool, and keep the sheep alive. That was the primary value. But eventually, sheep got old. They stopped producing good wool. They slowed down. And at that point, you had a choice. Keep feeding an animal that wasn't productive anymore, or turn it into food. Most people choose food. So the sheep got slaughtered, and that meat became mutton. It wasn't the goal, it was the byproduct. You didn't raise sheep specifically for mutton the way you might raise cattle for beef. You raised them for wool, and mutton was what happened at the end of their productive life. That's why mutton worked. It fit into a system where nothing was wasted, where animals served multiple purposes, where you used what you had because throwing it away didn't make sense. Mutton was a byproduct of logic, and as long as that system stayed in place, mutton stayed in the food supply, not because people loved it, but because it made practical, economic sense. Now here's the thing about mutton. It wasn't easy meat. Because the sheep were older, the meat was tough, dense, full of flavor, yes, but also full of connective tissue that needed time to break down. You couldn't just grill it and expect it to be tender. You had to cook it slowly, stew it, boil it, braise it for hours, and that fit perfectly into the way people cooked back then. One-pot meals, long simmering, food that was cooked all day while you did other things. Mutton stew was common, mutton with root vegetables, mutton boiled with barley or potatoes. It was winter food, hearty food, the kind of meal that required patience but filled you up. And because that's how most cooking worked anyway, mutton wasn't a problem. It was just another thing that went into the pot. But mutton only made sense in that context, in a world where slow cooking was normal, where you had time, where meals were designed around what lasted, not what was fast. Mutton was built for that world. And as long as that world existed, mutton had a place. But the moment cooking shifted towards speed and convenience, mutton started to lose its footing. So, what knocked mutton out? Two things: beef and lamb. By the mid-20th century, the American meat industry was changing fast. Beef production scaled up, cattle ranching became industrialized, and beef became the default red meat for most Americans. It was versatile, it was mild, it was easy to market. Steak, burgers, roasts. Beef worked for fast cooking and slow cooking. It fits every occasion. And then there was lamb. Lamb is meat from a young sheep, usually less than a year old. And compared to mutton, lamb was easier to sell. It was tender. It didn't need hours of cooking. It had a milder flavor, what people started calling a cleaner taste. Lamb could be grilled, pan-fried, roasted in under an hour. It fit the direction food was going: faster, simpler, more convenient. So the lamb stayed. Beef dominated. And mutton? Mutton got stuck in the middle. Too strong for people who wanted mild. Too tough for people who wanted fast. Too old for an industry that was optimizing for speed and standardization. It wasn't that the mutton failed, it's that it didn't fit anymore, and in a system that was moving toward efficiency, not fitting was enough to disappear. But it goes deeper than just competition. The meat industry itself was changing in a way that made mutton inconvenient. Modern meat production is built on speed and uniformity. You want animals that grow fast. They reach market weight quickly. That produces consistent cuts every time. Young animals do that. Old animals don't. A lamb can be ready in less than a year. A steer in under 2. But mutton requires keeping sheep around for years. Feeding them, maintaining them, waiting. And by the time they became mutton, the meat was tough, variable, and required explanation. You have to cook it this way. It tastes different than what you're used to. It's not bad. It just needs time. That's not what the modern meat system wants to deal with. It wants products that are easy to standardize, easy to package, easy to sell, meat that looks the same every time, cooks the same every time, tastes predictable every time. Mutton was none of those things. It didn't scale. It didn't simplify. It didn't fit the assembly line. So the system just stopped producing it. Not because it was bad meat, but because it was inconvenient meat. Mutton didn't fail. It didn't scale. Now, if you ask people today why mutton disappeared, most will say the same thing. It tastes too strong. It's gamey. It has that smell. And sure, mutton does have a stronger flavor than lamb or beef. But here's the thing. That flavor wasn't the reason it disappeared. Taste became the excuse after mutton was already gone. Because for generations, people ate mutton just fine. They cooked it. They served it. They grew up with it. The flavor wasn't a problem when it was normal. It only became a problem when it stopped being available. When people stopped cooking it, they stopped knowing how to cook it. When butchers stopped selling it, people stopped encountering it. And when a whole generation grew up without mutton, of course it tasted strange when they finally tried it. Because they had nothing to compare it to, no context, no familiarity. So they said it tasted off, too strong, unpleasant. But that wasn't the meat's fault. That was unfamiliarity talking. Taste didn't kill mutton. The supply chain did. And once mutton disappeared from stores, the taste became the story people told to explain why it was gone. But it was never the cause. It was the consequence. So here's what really happened to mutton. It didn't disappear because people rejected it. It was edited out. Nobody banned it. Nobody campaigned against it. Nobody said, we're removing mutton from the American diet. It just stopped being part of the system. Farmers stopped raising sheep for dual purposes. They specialized, either wool or meat, not both. Slaughterhouses are optimized for younger animals, faster turnover, standardized cuts. Grocery stores stocked what moved quickly, what customers recognized, what didn't require explanation. And at every level of that system, mutton got quietly removed. Not because it was bad, but it was inconvenient. It didn't fit the speed. It didn't fit the packaging. It didn't fit the marketing. So it just stopped showing up. And here's the thing about food. If it's not sold, it's not eaten. It doesn't matter if it's nutritious. It doesn't matter if it's affordable. It doesn't even matter if people would like it. If it's not on the shelf, it doesn't exist. Mutton didn't vanish. It was edited out of the supply chain. And once that happened, it might as well have never existed at all. Mutton didn't disappear because it was bad meat. It disappeared because it belonged to a different system. A system where animals served multiple purposes, where food required time, where older didn't mean worse, just different. But that system got replaced by one that prioritizes speed, standardization, convenience, and mutton didn't fit. So it got quietly removed. Not all at once, not dramatically, just edited out. One decision at a time, until it was gone. They just stopped fitting the system that decides what gets sold. And once they're not sold, they stop being eaten. That's how food disappears in modern America. Not with a bang, with a series of small, logical business decisions. Until one day you look around and realize it's just gone. If this kind of story makes you think, hit subscribe. We're mapping the invisible forces that shape what we eat. And comment. What food do you think disappeared simply because it didn't fit the system anymore? I'll see you in the next one.